I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, the creepy, and the strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer tonight is 6 Iron Pilsner, brewed by Rocket Republic Brewing in Madison, Alabama on planet Earth. That's on the cans. I didn't add that. 4.7% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. Pale, clean, crisp. And that is it. I will say that it's perfectly described there, though. I am almost positive that this was just a one-off, really small batch that they made, because it's not on their website, and I can't really find much about it. I think it was probably made for a golf tournament or something along those lines.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, it's wonderful. I really freaking like it. I would love to have this on the golf course, personally, but it is. It's it's bitter, like an IPA or something, but it's a Pilsner. It's like the one. It's almost exactly like the one we had for the Patreon last week that we did, that yuzu.
The yuzu one. That one was fantastic.
That Japanese beer. It's almost exactly like that. Here, you can try it. It just doesn't have as much citrus in it, but it's like, it's an American style Pilsner with a whole lot of bitter in it. Very nice. Very refreshing. I enjoy it thoroughly.
It's good, but to be completely honest, I much prefer the Japanese one, the Uzu, because it's got that citrus kick on the back end, and I love that citrus. That's really good and refreshing, and it's, I'm not a huge Pilsner fan, but it's a good one.
Yeah. So all you plain Jane listeners won't know what we're talking about, but that's okay. It was it's just a Japanese beer that's made with Uzu, which I found out is basically just lemon.
No, it is not just lemon. It is a citrus fruit.
Beside the point, we're on this episode. This gets a 9 out of 10. Really good. I doubt you could find it, but if you could and you like Pilsners, 100% go for it. But our shot in the dark for the night is the star of the show, Leah. We are drinking Jack Daniel's Winterjack Tennessee Cider, produced and bottled by Jack Daniel Distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee. 15% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Jack Daniel's Winterjack is a seasonal blend made perfect with our apple cider liqueur, the taste of warm winter spices, and Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Tennessee whiskey, an original recipe from Jack's home, Lynchburg, Tennessee. And that is all that they have to say about that. What I have to say is that the low alcohol content makes this unbelievably good. You could drink it by itself out of the bottle if you wanted to, as crazy as that sounds. But it's absolutely amazing, and I 100% recommend finding it anywhere that you can. I think this may be the first time they've ever done it, because it's the first time I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure this is a seasonal item that they've had before. I think it's something that they do every year.
Oh, well.
I could be wrong about that, but Tennessee specifically has a big culture of Applejack.
Yeah, that's true.
It's apple brandy, and I can't imagine they've not, stuck whiskey in that before. It just makes sense.
Yeah, but it definitely does have that Jack Daniel's flavor to it, but it's only 15%, so it's unbelievably smooth.
Yeah.
Because y'all know I don't like the flavor of Jack Daniel's anyway. But
and I'm a Jack Daniel's girl. I prefer that sweet Tennessee smooth whiskey flavor.
Right. And little did I know that all you need to do is just take a whole bunch of alcohol out of it and it tastes wonderful. And add some apple to it. So, to be completely fair, some apple and some cider spices. Anyway, that's it. It's one of the best ones we've ever had on the show, in my opinion. But it's only 15%, so I don't even know if we can say it's a liquor. It might as well be a wine at this point. It gets a 10 out of 10 on ice, 10 out of 10 with ginger ale, and a 10 out of 10 overall. This is wonderful, and it might not make a second appearance because it might be gone very soon. So
I think it would also be really lovely in a tea or in like a hot apple cider.
Yeah.
Wassail, something like that. I think it would be really nice.
Thank you. Yeah. I would have to agree. Yeah, I'm just thinking about putting it in some actual cider.
That's what I said.
I know, but that's all I'm thinking about. You said tea, and I'm just, let's just get some cider and some spices at the old Krogs.
Krogs.
Anyway, that's it for the alcohols, Leah.
All right, fantastic. Well, we actually have a piece of listener mail.
Oh, shit, listener mail.
Listener mail. All right, so we got a postcard in the mail, probably a couple of days ago, but, I just went to the mailbox today, and it is a fantastic postcard. The people that are watching it on YouTube can see the postcard here.
It's really cool.
It's from Fairborn, Ohio, and on it says the Chamber of Secrets. No, the Secret Chamber.
Was that supposed to be funny, Leah?
No, I literally just said it wrong.
It went very well. Did y'all know that in the tradition of making pornos out of everything, that the Chamber of Secrets is the only one that's name stays the same? When they do the Harry Potter pornos, it's just the Chamber of Secrets.
I mean, it is a Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
But no, this is the Secret Chamber House of Oddities and Artwork. And on the front of it, it has the two-headed buffalo, which looks like a two-headed buffalo specimen that's been taxidermied. And apparently its name is Harry and Billy.
They have the two-headed buffalo, which looks like a two-headed buffalo.
Yeah. Anyway, the postcard says, Mitch and Leah, love the podcast. Listen to Southern Spirits on my walks. Enjoy this card from our local oddity shop in Fairborn, Ohio. Ashley W. And the back of the card has the store's sticker on it, which is really fun. Yeah. And the back of it says, stay weird, which I really like. So this seems like the kind of place that I could definitely get into.
Yeah, I'd go. I
love weird shit.
The one thing, though, I don't appreciate people listening to our things and doing, like, exercise. No.
A lot of people do listen to us while they exercise, and I'm like, are you...
Y'all need to calm
on purpose?
Down. Sit down. Like, fall asleep to it.
I was going to say, I feel like we're more of a, like...
better.
I would say we're more of, like, a bathtub snacking kind of podcast.
Leah,
but, you do you.
Leah, we are not bathtub worthy, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Dishes. Do the dishes.
Dishes, yeah. Something practical. Darn your socks or something.
You can do like I do. So, I've watched, just in my life in general, I've watched the entire series of The Sopranos before. Well, that new movie came out, and I watched it, and I was like, this isn't very interesting. So I'm rewatching the show again, but I'm doing it in like 10-minute spurts. To where, like, when I sit down to eat lunch, I'll watch it, but I don't ever want to watch it any other time. So I think that's kind of where our podcast would listen to us in, like, a few minutes at a time and don't really get any kind of a flow of an episode. And you understand, But that's what I've done. I've been watching The Sopranos again for a few weeks now. 4 or 5 weeks.
I haven't watched it the first time, and I don't feel like I've missed anything.
And I'm on episode 6 of season 1. So that's what I mean. And it's not like I've just not been watching it. Like, I watch it every day at lunch, and it's just here and there. So that's all I mean.
I guess it's better than binging Full House or something.
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't binge Full House, Leah. I lived Full House, and I have the DVDs. That's all that is. I've never binged Full House in my life. It was just in my life from the beginning.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on from that shame. We have a sassy Southern saying for the evening. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. The sassy Southern saying for this evening is, ain't no education in the... No, sorry. Let me try that again. Ain't no education in the second kick of a mule.
Oh, okay. You're supposed to learn the first time.
Yeah.
Don't keep making the same mistakes.
Exactly.
Don't be a dum-dum. Don't. I've never heard this one, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's real easy to piece together. But besides that, I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was it. It was just like, yeah, fucking do it right. Like, you can make one mistake, but if you do it again, dude, that's on you.
Don't make the same mistake.
Yeah. Don't make the same mistake twice, because it's not helpful.
Yeah. See, that's Seriously. What I do. I make a multitude of singular, unique mistakes. Just a lot of them. And then everybody gets angry, and I'm like, hey, man, I've never done this before. What? It's really easy to just get away with shit when you do that,
White male privilege. It's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so
What up?
yeah, are you ready for our very first story of the evening?
Sure. If you want to do it, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we are going to be talking about the Martha Washington Inn.
Okay. Like George's wife?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it might actually be named after her, but like...
I thought Martha Washington was George Washington's wife.
It is.
That
She
wrong?
is. She is. But that's just the name. So it was... we'll get there.
Okay.
It was the name of a college, and then they turned it into a hotel, and so they kept the name. But I think it might be named after the actual Martha Washington, but she was not physically involved in the founding of it, if that makes sense. Anyway, so this particular building started out in 1832. There was a man named General Francis Preston, and he built a big old brick house for his family. And it was, at the time, $15,000 for this mansion, which is a fuck ton of money in 1832 dollars.
Yeah. What you doing over there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had an ugh. Have you ever had like just a scratch, like an itch that just?
Yeah, it's usually like
No, it was my earlobe.
down south.
Yeah, no, it was not an under problem. It was my earlobe just decided it was on fire. Oh, good night.
I'm sorry. Is it still doing it?
It honestly feels like a fire ant just bit the tar out of my earlobe.
Well, that's no good. Make sure there's nothing in those headphones.
There's not. There's nothing
Are you
in
sure?
there. It's just like my ear decided that this was the day. I don't like that at all.
Not
I'm
only
sorry,
this
guys.
is the day, this is the time.
Hate it. Okay, anyway,
well,
sorry.
Like, do we need to
apologize.
stop?
No. It's fine now,
Okay.
but it was not fine then. It's okay. We're good. So anyway, yeah. Old dude builds a big house, really expensive. And the mansion stayed in the family, for a couple of decades, until in 1858, they sold the entire estate for the sum of $21,000, which is also a fuck ton of money in 1858 money.
Yeah.
And they've sold it to the founders of the Martha Washington College.
Well,
Now,
that's
this
nice.
was a college, much like my own alma mater, that was established as a women's educational facility. It was a college devoted entirely to women. Only women could go there. They studied home economics and being a teacher. That's about it. Those are the two options. Like,
that was higher learning.
yeah, that was higher learning for women, but it was, so you would be learned enough to be like a good secretary for your husband kind of situation, which was, in
God,
fact.
do I need somebody to do some filing around here, Leah?
Don't sign me up for filing, man.
I've got so many files I need you to file.
That is fucking half of my job in like my day job
Yeah, me
situation,
too.
and I do not appreciate
Well,
it.
that's the thing. It also is in mine, and when I come home, I don't want to do any damn filing,
Me
Leah.
either.
I need someone to get off their ass and do their womanly duties, get my filing done.
Look, we need a sister wife or a brother husband or a non-binary secretary. I just need someone to come do our fucking filing for us, okay? But we can't pay you, so you're going to have to get in on this throuple.
As of right now, everything's just hastily thrown in a filing cabinet in the closet.
Yeah,
So.
precisely. We have problems, but anyway. So yeah, it was a women's institution, and they operated for 70 years until the Great Depression hit, and they had to close because # Great Depression.
Yeah.
But in that 70 years of operation, it has a storied past, a history, and one that the Civil War, of course, really seriously figures into, because there were battles on the grounds of the college, and then, of course, being a large building with lots of rooms in it, both sides used it as a field hospital during different parts of the war. Like, once again, same thing. My university, same thing. Anything that had a big building, like lots of field hospitals are around in, educational facilities down here, because those were the big houses and, facilities that were available to treat the wounded. So,
Yeah. It's always terrifying.
Most definitely. So it served as a training ground for the Confederate unit called the Washington Mounted Rifles. I don't really know anything else about them, but, apparently they drilled and trained at that location. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the building got traded between the different forces back and forth because a lot of stuff did. But, it did act as a field hospital for a really long time. And it got the nickname the Martha, after the Martha Washington College, but people just started calling it the Martha because when you're in battle, who has time to say, hey, go take so-and-so to the Martha Washington College? I take him to the Martha, his legs shot off, Well,
first of all, it wasted a whole lot of breath on those first few words. Just Martha Washington College. That's all you got to say. And then, of course, the soldier will go, what?
Take him to the Martha.
You're right. It's a much bigger waste.
Yeah, just take him to the Martha.
Never mind.
So the Martha is what it has been known, and people still call it the Martha now that it is, in fact, a spa and hotel. And a lot of fun, fancy people went to that college. Wikipedia wants you to know.
The fun and fancy people.
Yeah, fun and fancy. Wikipedia wants you to know that one of its alumna was actually the first woman elected to Mississippi legislature. She was in the class of 1880, and her name was Nellie Nugent Somerville, which is kind of fun. She went to that college.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Look.
I mean, I thought you said fun and fancy.
Herstory, okay?
I don't know who the fuck this lady is.
Anyway.
Old Nellie.
They've, preserved the building as well as they possibly could for a while. It's been redone. I think a few years ago, in the 80s, an investment group spent like $8 million to completely renovate and restore the building. They have a lot of the original family stuff in it. They've redone the whole thing. It's really beautiful just from the pictures that I've seen online. And it is a hotel and spa today, but it is a haunted hotel and spa. So we're going to tell you about the ghost stories from the hotel and spa.
Okay.
Yes, because I love spectral happenings when I'm naked and having someone being paid to rub my back,
100%. That's the only time that I embrace it.
Like, it's like, I'm paying for a 60-minute deep tissue massage, but if the ghost can get in with that second pair of hands, I'm in for it,
Yeah. What if the hands are all like ectoplasmy though, and they're not like good stiff hands?
Slime me. I don't care. I just rub my back.
There's the episode title.
Look, I
Slide
love a
me.
spa.
I don't care.
I love a spa. And if ectoplasm happens, ectoplasm happens. What can you say?
Oh, God.
I need to make a key change. Ectoplasm happens. It'll be great. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one will buy one.
We need to update the all the stuff on the store.
Yeah.
We need one of those on there for sure. You could laser cut it. You got that fancy-ass laser.
Yes.
You could make me that keychain.
Yes, I could.
Please.
Okay.
Please do.
Will do. Yeah. So, let's talk about the first ghost. This is one of the more famous stories that you'll hear if you do one of the ghost tours in that area. This one's called the Yankee Sweetheart.
Okay.
So, actually, a lot of the women that attended the Martha Washington College during the war, classes weren't in session during the war because it was dangerous as shit. But a lot of the women stayed behind and volunteered as nurses. And so, there were young women working in this hospital, hanging out. So there was a man named Captain John Stoves, and he was an officer in the Union Army. And he was severely wounded, and he was captured in Abingdon, which is where this is. I don't know if I ever said that, but it's in Abingdon, Virginia.
I don't know if you did.
Yeah. I don't know. If I didn't, it's in Abingdon, Virginia. But yeah, so some soldiers carried him. There's a cave system underneath Abingdon, and there is like sort of a tunnel underneath this building, and there's a stairway up to enter it. Anyway, they took him through this secret passageway to get him into the hospital to have him treated without the Confederates knowing that there was a high-profile military officer that was very injured and ill and whatnot. So he gets placed in what is now room 403, and he gets nursed by a young woman named Beth. And Beth ends
I know a
up...
nurse named Beth.
Huh, a nurse named Beth.
I do.
Yes.
I know a nurse named Beth.
I know you do. I
That's
also know Beth.
That's everything.
Yes.
We know a nurse named Beth.
I was to say, we know a nurse named Beth.
We know a nurse named Beth.
I've been having trouble with stuttering all day, guys. I'm sorry.
Thank you for apologizing.
But yeah, she was a young lady. Her name was Beth, and she nursed him, and she cared for him. And obviously, she fell in love with him because dying soldier who's not gonna... I don't know. I always find there's a lot of stories about, women, like nurses falling in love with patients.
Well,
and
was he maimed?
battlefield?
And stuff?
Yeah, like he was fucking shot. He was not doing good. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not like a nursey type person. I'm not.
Me either. I'm sorry. Like if you're sick or hurt or something, be like, I mean, I get that way sometimes too. Okay.
Which I mean, like I've been a caregiver and I've done, it sucks, but like I've done it and I was really good at it. But I'm not that person that's like longing for that kind of like, let me take care of something or somebody. Like fucking no. I'm not maternal in any way. So I don't get it. Sorry. What? Am I wrong?
It's just funny.
But yeah, so she fell in love with her handsome, shot-up captain. Oh. And she was actually really gifted at playing the violin. And he liked to listen to her play the violin, so she'd bring her violin and play him nice, country reels to help his pain, have him have a little bit of enjoyment while he was sick and in bed. And after a while, she confessed to him that, hey... I think you're hot stuff. And he was like, back at you, babe. And they're,
and that's not just my burns you're talking about, is it?
They fell in taste. What? A little bit. They fell in love with each other. But unfortunately, like it was, Civil War times and the antiseptic wasn't really a thing. And, medication was very limited. So... his shot self wasn't going to make it. So he obviously started dying pretty quick. And as he was dying, he called out to her, Beth, play something. I'm going. And Beth goes to grab her violin. And by the time she comes back, he's already dead, which...
Well, she didn't play fast enough. Shit.
Right? I mean, come on.
That's on you, Beth.
So he was dead, and she was upset. So she starts playing like a funeral song for him while he's dead, and she's just sad that she couldn't give him one last song. And a Confederate officer barges in, and he's like, this man's under arrest. I'm taking him as my prisoner. And Beth turns to him and is like, dude, he's already dead. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I think the quote that the story actually will say is, he has been pardoned by a higher officer than General Lee. Captain Stoves is dead. But from what I'm seeing and feeling in my heart, it was more of a fuck off, dude. I'm busy, Am I wrong?
He's been pardoned?
He's been pardoned.
That reminds me so much of the Norm Macdonald joke that's been making the rounds since he died of cancer, where he, on one of his specials, he said... that so-and-so lost their battle with cancer. And his position is, well, if the person dies, the cancer also dies. So at best, that's a draw. Right? I just think that's funny. And it makes me think, he's been pardoned by someone. No, bitch. He died. He just doesn't have to be imprisoned.
Yeah. So, but of course, conditions in the hospital were really shitty. So Beth also died of typhoid fever very shortly after him. And a lot of the women that acted as nurses also got contagious illnesses and died as well.
Oh.
So there's a lot of hauntings and shit that revolve around the nurses. But specifically, if you stay in room 403, a lot of people have reported hearing like faint violin music in the night, which creepy. Like, there's a lot of music that I could hear in the night and be like, oh, that's normal. But like, if like a violin starts kind of, in the middle of the night.
Well, it depends on if it's a pretty song.
I don't care if it's a pretty song. That's just sort of an eerie thing that I do not want to be a part of. Like,
you don't like violins?
Give me a nice jangly banjo, something lively.
I'd take a viola.
Yeah.
I like violas because they're not as high, of course.
I'm a cello lady myself, but
cello's too bassy, Leah.
No, I'm a fan of the cello, but yeah, there are a few instruments that I would totally be fine with listening to in the middle of the night. Violin's not one of them. Bagpipes are certainly not one of them. Anything like high and eerie, no, thank you. No.
I would love if there was a ghost that just played bagpipes like right as you're about to fall asleep. Just hit one good note. I mean, you are on the cusp, and that ghost goes, bitch, if I'm eternally awake, so are you.
And it can only play the one song.
Yeah. It's not even a song, it's just a note every now and then to keep you on your toes. You're always going to be super stressed out.
Yeah,
waiting for the next bagpipe.
To be fair, I sleep next to you every night, and you get like, I get really close to sleep, and all of a sudden, like, because most of the time your CPAP keeps you under control and it's not a problem. But every so often you shift, and I'll be right on the edge of being able to fall asleep, and I hear. So I basically live with a bagpipe. It's just,
a bassy bagpipe. That's what it is. It's
a snuffling bagpipe.
I am the cello of the bagpipe world. That's what it is. Yeah, I get it.
So like, I relate. I feel it. But thankfully you're not haunting me, so.
No.
Still can't sleep, but at least there's nothing eerie about it. Anyway. Shot in the dark?
Oh, shit. Hold on. I'm typing the cello of bagpipes right here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so shot in the dark. A spectral animal is known to wander the property. What kind of animal is it?
It is a cat. Because as Robin Williams famously said, a bagpipe just sounds like a cat with a rod shoved up its ass. So it's just a cat.
No, it's not an option. So is it A, a ghost horse, B, a ghost squirrel, or C, a ghost dog?
I hope it's a squirrel. I'm saying squirrel. I'm going with squirrel.
It's not a ghost squirrel. I put that in there because I wanted you to pick a ghost squirrel.
I did.
It was a ghost horse.
Well, I've poured 2 shots. Would you like one?
Sure.
Okay. Since this stuff's so nice anyway, I don't see why you wouldn't. Okay. Well, all right. I was going to count it down, but I'll just go by myself then. Is that good by itself?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
You don't need anything to shoot.
It's so low, I figured it wouldn't be harsh, so.
No, it's not bad at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's nice and light. There's no burn. Yeah. It's very, very smooth. Anyway, so the ghost animal is actually a phantom horse. So apparently, the Martha has a ghost horse that has often been seen waiting for his master outside the front steps of the hotel. And apparently, a Union soldier was shot in front of the house in 1864, and people speculate that that's the guy that the horse is waiting on. And so when it's really dark out, usually when there's like a new moon, apparently people see the horse sort of wandering around, roaming the grounds, just sort of waiting for someone to fucking show up and get on him. And it never happens. And I find that very, very sad. Like, look, I understand that I'm supposed to connect to these human stories and these tragic, like, awful things that have happened. And that should be where my empathy really lies. But I'm super sad for the horse.
Yeah.
Man,
Me
like,
too.
the horse isn't going to know that his dude, like, got shot. He's just going to think that his friend didn't come back for him. And I find that very sad.
Yeah. Me too. It's very, very sad. I don't like animal things, sad animal things. I'm okay with people. They're a dime a dozen. They're assholes.
But the horsey's so sweet.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like horses having a bad thing.
Also, I'm scared of horses, but like, they're really cute, so.
I'm scared of horses too. Like, I've been near one and like reached out to pet it. And I was like, this fucker's big and I'm scared.
Well, see, I mean, I grew up with a horse rancher right next to my house. Like, our back pasture butts up to their pasture. So I saw horses every day of my life growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still horses, you know, that butt up to the pasture where my dad lives. And they've just always scared me. I've ridden one. I've petted them. But they're just so big.
Yeah.
They're just like, you don't think about how fucking huge a horse is until you get up next to one. And then you're like, oh, no, thank you.
They're like 2,000 pounds. They're huge.
Like, and I kind of feel the same way about cows, but at least the cows are generally a lot more chill.
Yeah. Cows don't really have like you never really hear about cows kicking, you know, that sort of thing.
Not true. If you're trying to milk them, they will kick the shit out of you.
Sure.
I've heard my grandmother tell lots and lots of stories about people getting kicked by cows, but
how long were those fucking stories, Leah?
Very long. She likes to talk a lot, and sometimes she's like I am. She tells just the most irrelevant details for no good reason. It's where I get it from.
She had to call about her internet, and she left the most ridiculous voicemail.
It was seriously like a 4-minute voicemail.
And it made no sense.
No sense whatsoever.
The guy called back. What happened was I'm almost positive the guy looked and saw that his voicemail was 3.5 minutes long and went, I'm just going to call her back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to this. Because she put him on freaking speakerphone, and the guy goes, yeah, I had a missed call from this number, and that was it.
She had just left,
so I'm telling you, like,
the longest story.
I don't think he had enough time to listen to the voicemail, and it was a good 5 minutes from the time she called to when he called back. Y'all, she hung up that phone, and I went, we're going to have a talk with you about how to leave a message. Because they need specifics. Like, no one needs to know all the shit that you just said.
No, they
not
don't.
Even you. You don't need to know it.
What's really bad though is she's on a lot of medication for her pain.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll fall asleep mid-sentence. And she has legitimately left me like a 6 or 7 minute long voicemail where she's talking, about to finish the voicemail, she fell asleep, and the rest of the voicemail is just like house noises. Like, that has happened on multiple occasions.
Yep.
And then she'll wake back up and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Click.
Yeah. Anyway.
Bless her heart. Oh,
that was...
She's my favorite. Anyway, so the next ghostly story. Apparently, there is a ghostly soldier that has often been seen leaving a trail of mud behind him down this hallway.
Oh, no.
Apparently, he's the ghost of a soldier who's kind of got a crutch, and he's just sort of crutching his way into the hospital, leaving like this muddy footprints and a trail behind him. But apparently, like, the man in life was like really fucked up. Like, he had been, like, half of his head was gone, so like got hit by like a couple bullets or something, and like he was super duper fucked up. So they say that it's this gruesome, like, fucked up soldier leaving a muddy trail behind him, and like apparently it's a really like freaky, gruesome kind of spirit to accidentally wander into. No thanks.
Yeah.
And then there's also so I told you before that there's a lot of tunnels underneath the city. There's also a couple of tunnels underneath this particular hotel. There is a theater, a pretty famous theater right next door to this place called the Barter Theater. And back when it was in use, there was a tunnel between the Martha Washington Inn underneath and into the Barter Theater, because most of the actors and stuff actually stayed at the Martha. So it was just a quick and easy way to shuttle actors from one place to another so they don't have to be out in costume or anything like that. So It's closed off now on the inside because they, don't need it anymore. But the theater still uses it to run electrical cables and to store equipment and stuff like that. And apparently the actors that were still using the inn in the theater back in the 30s and 40s, apparently it was a very common thing to have weird shit happen down there. Apparently it felt like just bad, like there was malevolent kind of poltergeisty activity down there.
Cell phones stopped working.
Yeah, in the 30s and 40s, the cell phones were just
radios weren't working.
Yeah,
Leah.
No, apparently, like things would go missing. Things would sort of fly across the tunnel, like creepy shit. And apparently there was just an overwhelming, oppressively bad feeling. And the story is that it's possibly the ghost of a man that was killed when a part of the tunnel collapsed in 1890. And they think that he's pissed off that he got killed in the tunnel collapse, which fair play. I would be pissed if I got killed in a tunnel collapse as well. So
I don't know if I would have time to be pissed.
maybe it's that guy. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, that's the story of the Martha, and I don't know, I think it's fun. And like I said, the photos of this hotel are absolutely stunning. Yeah, I think it's really neat, interesting history, and if you're ever in Abingdon, Virginia, stop by. It is still operating as a hotel and a spa. And it's available for you to stay there should you care to. And they do rent out that haunted room. So if you're really interested in being woken up by violin music at 2 a.m, room 403, give it a shot.
I'd try it.
I would too. I just like old hotels and stuff, so I'd totally be down to stay there. But usually old hotels are expensive, so whatever.
Yeah, like where your friend is having her...
Yeah, we've actually done
wedding.
an episode about that hotel, the Reed House, and we actually get to spend the night in the old section for her wedding, and I'm so excited.
It was fucking $200 a night.
Yeah.
So,
thankfully, we're splitting it with another couple, so it's not a big deal, but...
Yeah. They get to be in there while I have, whiskey farts after the open bar.
They've smelled your whiskey farts before. It'll be fun.
No, ma'am.
But
not like this.
I'm super excited about that. It's going to be a gorgeous wedding, and it's in a haunted hotel, and I'm down for that. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah. So anyway, the stories.
I'm saying, can we stay at the Ramada and drive to the?
No, we cannot, because you're going to be drunk as fuck after that bar closes.
Yeah, there'll still be Uber, I think.
And they have the penthouse suite for a party afterwards. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going. I hope it's an
They
orgy.
sprung for the penthouse. Anyway, ew, what?
Took you a minute.
What did you just say?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a no from me, but okay. Anyway.
You want
My sources for that story were BuzzFeed, Wikipedia, and visit abingdonvirginia.com. Wikipedia.
All right. Well, I should say real quick, if there's a weird part in the audio or video there, something just happened. So we just picked back up with Leah doing her sources. So anyway, that's it. I think it's going to be okay, but we'll, acknowledge it.
I was like, would have been better if you hadn't acknowledged it. Then it would have been a seamless snap.
You want to do it again?
No.
Delete all this.
Absolutely not. Fuck it. All right. So, we are going to see you next, Tom? No.
No. We're going to take a break.
Yeah.
And do another story.
You're right.
We got to let the camera cool down and charge a little bit.
Okay.
And then we're good. Okay?
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all in just a few minutes. But for you, it'll be...
like now.
Seamless.
But yeah.
Ready? Go. Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Who's excited?
I'm excited.
Leah's excited.
Woo!
All right, I guess we have story number 2 to get to, my love.
All right, for story number 2, we're going to Charleston, South Carolina, and we're actually talking about the story behind a painting.
Ooh, a painting.
A painting. And the painting is actually in the Yale collection, in the Yale Art Gallery, and it is a miniature. So it is a very small pocket-sized portrait, and it's the portrait of a young woman, and it is called The Dead Bride, which should tell you all you need to know about where the story is going.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next time.
Yes. So it's actually a portrait done by an artist called Valet, and the portrait is of a young woman named Harriet Mackey. She was 17 years old when she died, and she died only a couple of weeks before her wedding. It was
sad.
painted in Charleston, South Carolina in 1804. So there's a lot of speculation around her death. And some haunting stuff. So I'm just going to tell you about it because I think it's interesting and fun. So Harriet grew up really wealthy. Her father was a rice plantation owner, and he made lots of money doing it. But he died, and her mother died when she was relatively young, and she was left the entire estate. And the entire estate was vast, and she was a very wealthy, very sought after young woman because whoever married her was going to get all that good stuff. So, she was chased a lot by a lot of different men. And eventually she ends up becoming engaged to be married to a man named Mr. William Rose. And William was super pumped. He landed like a big fish, like this was good for him, and they liked each other a lot, and it was gonna be a great wedding. But unfortunately, she was really good one day, like just vibrant and vivacious and awesome, and the next day she was dead. So
Jesus.
It kind of led a lot of people to believe that she had been poisoned, which, yeah, I could see that. It could have been any number of things. It could have been, a physiological defect, heart deformation, brain aneurysm. There's a lot of sudden death situations that could happen. They're very rare for someone that young, but it's possible. Yeah. But at the time, the whispers and the rumors and all of that kind of stuff going on sort of led people in the town to believe that she had been murdered by poison. And people are, okay, who's gonna murder a 17-year-old girl? Yeah, she's rich, but who's gonna fucking murder that bitch? Well, it turns out that her father had actually left a contingency plan in the case that she didn't make it to, because mortality rates were very high. The life expectancy at that time wasn't great. The life expectancy and the child mortality rate was very high. And so if he died and left all of his estate to an heir, and the heir died, if you don't have someone else lined up after them, what was going to happen to your shit, and he had a lot of shit. So he made this contingency plan. So her father, his name was Dr. James Mackey. He left the entire estate, the whole rice plantation, all of that to his daughter on the day of her marriage. Mm-hmm. But if the daughter dies before she gets married or dies before she inherits, that part of the estate, so all of it, goes to one of his relatives' sons. So the relative is Captain William Alston. It goes to his two sons, John Alston and William Alston. Now,
I see.
Yeah. So William Alston was actually the largest slave owner in South Carolina. He was known as King Billy because he was so rich and had so much shit and was such a wealthy slave owner. And like I said, he had those two sons. And actually the John Alston died as a young man. But the other son, William, survived. And it's the speculation that because it was possible that if she died before her wedding day, she would never inherit, so that property would never go to her or her fiance. So the thought is that William Alston, basically poisoned her to inherit all of her shit. Yeah. Because he did inherit all of her shit after she died. Like that. Right. That happened. But like I said, there was a lot of speculation as to whether it was a natural death or an unnatural death. And so the painting it's beautiful. It's just of a young dead woman with like roses and
Jesus, Leah.
It's really pretty. But it's kind of creepy, I don't like it. Anyway, so actually, there's one of her friends that had been around her, wrote in their diary about the day that she died and the day before that portrait was actually taken of her corpse. And it was his name was John Blake White. And he writes about her in a diary that is displayed with this portrait. But it says, after but a few short hours illness...
The cat is just blocking Leah completely. It's very funny.
Whatever. It says, after but a few short hours of illness, death has snatched from our sight one to whom youth and health had promised length of days. But last evening I was at the house and in the society of Miss Harriet Mackey, and today I have beheld her a corpse. Merciful God, is it possible that a few hours shall have effected so great a change as that the object which but yesterday seemed so lovely and so fair to view should today appear disgusting and become the object of our aversion? So yeah, like one day she was super duper fine, and the next day she was super duper dead.
Jesus, Leah.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a very haunting, kind of creepy, iffy portrait. Anyway, but it was commissioned by her fiance, who was by all accounts, he was absolutely wrecked, which sure he would be. Like, I mean, I'm sure he emotionally cared for her, but also he is no longer going to be a very incredibly wealthy man when he marries this young lady. So
yeah,
I could feel like there's a little bit of both feeling happening there. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong or just cynical? Because I need help.
I mean, you're definitely cynical, but I don't know about this situation.
But like I said, he was absolutely, completely upset. She was laid out to be, painted in this portrait. She's laid out in her wedding dress, and she's got roses around her. And actually, since it is a miniature locket, on the back side of it, there's a braid of her hair under glass, under like a sealed crystal piece.
Yeah.
So that's also a little spooky. Mourning jewelry and stuff was just starting to be a thing, which is fun. But yeah, so basically the story is was she murdered? Was she not?
Sounds to me like she was murdered.
Yeah. And a lot of people think that portrait itself is a little haunted. People feel some sort of way when they view it in the Yale Gallery. Honestly, I think it's just a really pretty portrait. But people sort of claim that they feel like a sadness and that kind of thing when they view it. To me, of course, knowing the story, who wouldn't be sad at the fact that a 17-year-old almost bride is dead unexpectedly, but I don't know. I just think it's a fun murder mystery kind of situation that has this really beautiful painting at the center of it. I don't know. I thought it was a fun story and I wanted to tell you about it. So that is the rather short but still lovely story of Harriet Mackey and the portrait of a dead bride.
Can I ask if the story's over?
Yeah, that was everything.
You didn't do a shot in the dark for that one.
Oh, I didn't? Oh, shit, I didn't.
Let's just do a shot. We both missed it. Moving on.
What the hell? Bless it.
Leah.
I didn't put it in there. I've been writing notes for 2 separate shows because we're going to be gone through the week next week. Mm-hmm. And I swear, but I'm a little mad about that.
Well, Leah half-assed this one. So.
Look.
Hey, take your shot. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's nice. Too much for you?
Shot in the dark.
What? You want me to pour another one?
No.
Hold on.
Shot in the dark. Shot in the dark. What could I ask a question about this?
Okay, well, let's just say this, Leah. You know that I didn't get any of that, right?
Oh, yeah. You weren't paying attention. You were scrolling through Twitter.
No. I just opened Twitter just now. The cat had my entire attention the whole time. I just opened Twitter right now when you said the story's over. And the cat, I was trying to make sure he didn't go after the camera. Tried to keep his attention. I didn't listen to a fucking word.
Oh, good. So you don't have an idea about what this is about. So Shot in the Dark.
No, I know what it's about.
What city did this take place in?
South Carolina. Charleston.
Yes, you got it. Oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
All right, take another shot. Just take a pull off the bottle.
I mean, you could. It's a very smooth liqueur.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's
and
very
the bottle's
nice
and frosty looking.
It's not as good as the Baileys that we had on the Patreon.
No, the Patreon Baileys. If you haven't listened to that, or you just don't subscribe, that's fine. We did the apple pie a la mode Baileys flavor. It's a seasonal flavor that they do every year. It is fucking. And if you've got a place that has that near you, go fucking get a bottle. It's like available everywhere. Man, apple pie Baileys, that shit is nope, not gonna say it. I caught myself.
You already did once. That's what I'm writing down.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, I don't even catch it anymore or at all. I've never caught it.
I told you that I've gotten so weird by that when I hear it in the world, just in real life when we're not doing this, I go, ooh. And then I go, oh, I don't have to do anything about that. No. I'm around normal people. It's fun.
No, it is an incredibly tasty beverage. So if you're interested in it, go get some because it's creamy and it's appley and it's wonderful. And I'm a fan. But I'm an apple flavor girl.
Yeah, you love apple. We're an apple family.
Yeah, I love apple. Like, fuck pumpkin spice. Like, I like peppermint mocha, but like, I would take apple cider flavored anything over everything all of the time. Like,
and see, that's interesting about me. I also love apple flavored things, but if I'm having like an apple pie, I don't want apples in it. I don't like the apple pieces are the worst part for me. I like the pie filling and the crust.
Oh no, the apple texture is just so pleasant, and
I don't
the way
care about
they
the
kind
texture. I don't like. I mean, the texture's part of it. Like, I don't like the crunch.
Into it. It's a good texture.
I frankly don't want the apple flavor in my apple flavored thing. You know what I mean? Because apple by itself is not apple flavored, just like everything else in the world. Like, apple pie filling does not really taste like an apple. You know what I mean? And I like that with a really sweet pie crust. Ooh. Oh, man, I want it right now.
No, I'm sorry. I just...
Like, pecan pie is wonderful because the pecans just sit on top, and then underneath is all that molasses pie filling, right?
It's
love
goo.
Pecan pie.
Yeah, it's just goo at the bottom.
Right. Oh, so am I, by the way. I am also goo at the bottom.
No, I love a fucking apple pie. That I would probably take like a good apple pie over any cake that's ever existed. And I like cake. I mean, look at me. I fucking love cake. But if there's a good apple pie, 100% apple pie me all day long. That is,
I agree.
Seriously.
In most instances, I would take a pie over a cake. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, the people that made our wedding cakes, for example, those cakes are unfucking believable. And
they're great, but I would still have taken like a really nice pie.
I don't know if I would over those cakes. I don't know. And I like cake, but they're all very similar in most instances, right? Unless we're talking about like cheesecake or something. But yeah, I would almost definitely take a pie or like a cobbler over a cake in most instances.
See, I'm really particular about fruit pies. I like peach and apple. I don't care about anything else. Like, don't rhubarb me. I'm good, you know? Like, no thanks. But an apple fucking pie or a peach cobbler, fuck yeah. Those are the best. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
Yeah. Well,
yes, please.
Well, you have your recommendations, everyone.
Yeah, just random non-asked for recommendations from Leah. Apple everything.
Well, did you remember to put a toast in this?
I did. Also, that story was from the Yale Art Gallery, where you can also view photos of the actual painting, and it is a lovely painting. So I highly recommend you look that up. So, yeah.
I will.
All right, so you ready to toast?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody hoist your watered-down ginger ale into the sky. Woo. Okay, the toast. Raise your glass to the spectral horse waiting for his master. The rider may have made it too, if only he'd been faster.
Mm-hmm.
A bride in death young Harriet lay, captured in a locket, a magnitude of tears and grief concealed within a pocket. Drink!
A pocket. I feel like I missed something in the story.
It's a miniature painting. You keep it in a pocket. It's a mourning piece.
I didn't know it was a miniature.
God damn it, Mitchell.
I thought it was hanging on a wall.
No, it's a portrait of her that's about that big.
It's wallet size.
It's a few inches tall, a few inches wide. It's just a little framed portrait, and on the back, under leaded crystal, is a braid of her hair, and it's a mourning piece that you would keep in your pocket.
I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, it was...
None.
It was commissioned by her fiance that, lost out big time when she died.
I remember the fiance part, because he lost out on his money, and probably slaves, let's be honest.
Oh, definitely slaves. So, there were definitely slaves being passed on in this transaction.
Yeah, so...
Because at that time, the rice farming was a very big deal in that area, and it was a rice plantation that she was inheriting. So
I really didn't know that. I didn't know that we had like the climate for rice naturally like that. I really didn't know that.
Yeah, rice and indigo were a big thing in that area, and then nowadays,
what's indigo?
It's a plant that you grow. It makes a dye called indigo. It's what they used to dye.
I know indigo from the color indigo.
Yeah,
I didn't know that it was a thing.
It's from the plant, and they used it to make that dye.
I did not know that.
Big bumper or cash crops from that area. Nowadays, they grow a lot of rice in Arkansas.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I knew that we were locally sourcing rice now, and like not all of it's coming from the Asian continent, but I just really didn't know that, because back then you couldn't exactly cultivate the same way that you can now, and I just figured we didn't have the climate for rice. I don't know why, but I've never thought about it until just now, where I'm like, I never would have thought we had the climate for rice. It's a grain like any other,
but it's got to have like marshy conditions,
right?
And they have that in South Carolina, especially in Charleston near the coast. So
yeah,
works for them.
What do you know?
I don't know that they still grow it, but it was definitely a thing at that point in time.
I'm sure they do. I mean, we get 25-pound bags of rice at Costco when we go. So I'm just saying, we ain't getting it from, Asian countries. We're not importing it.
No, that might actually be imported rice. I'm not sure.
Oh, no, we can look at the bag. We can look at the 25-pound sack.
I was going to say, but then we would have to, pick the bag up and look. So I'm going to say no on that one, but yeah. So, yeah, that was the story twice now because Mitchell missed it the first time.
Hey.
So, yeah, is there anything else you want to say? It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but we did a 2-hour episode the other day, so.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good. Because we got to do another one soon. Yeah. Not today, but tomorrow, so. I'm good. Jesus Christ, Leah.
I'm sorry.
Jesus, say I'm going to sneeze. Or...
I did. I said...
No, you fucking didn't. And also, move the microphone away from you.
I'm sorry.
I mean, Jesus, did you see that thing pop?
I did. Hubba bubble is what you've... I'm about to scream sneeze. I'm sorry.
No, every scream for you is a sneeze. I've had this conversation with you with other people, and you say, I can't help that I'm sneezing. And I go, I'm not asking you to help the sneeze. I'm saying that you don't have to scream when you sneeze. You don't. And you know that you don't.
Dude, that's just how my body fucking works.
It is not.
It is 100% just how my body works and how it has always worked.
You could literally sneeze quieter.
That is not how my body works. Jesus Christ, I have told you 100 times.
Yeah, I've told you 100 times. That's not accurate. See a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, should I? No, I'm not going to make that blow. I'm not going to say the mean thing, but I could.
What?
I could.
What? About my snoring again?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Tell me.
No. I sneeze the way God made me sneeze, all right? Not my fault. Blame the big man. Let's wrap this up.
What do I do that you think I should be able to control? What is it? No, tell me. I don't know what she's talking about. It's got to be me being unconscious. That's got to be it. So what is it? We're not ending the episode. I'm not doing the outro until you tell me. Are you about to sneeze again? Are you about to sneeze? Oh, you're just blowing your nose on the show. Okay. All right.
Could have been not on the show, but you kept going.
Yeah, this is my fault. All right.
How about you wrap it up?
Thanks for listening, everyone. Follow us on the social medias. Send us a postcard, P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama, 35640. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Get on the merch store. Get you some merch. Anything else? What am I missing? I'm missing something for sure.
Nope, that's everybody.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.